Hey, welcome everybody. Hi folks, how you doing? Good morning. Good morning, good morning. Who can hear me? Can anyone hear me? Are you able to hear me? Are we live? Yes, we're live. Good, good, good. Good, good. Let's set up, let's populate, let's get our business together because I'll be honest with you, it's kind of early for me too. All right, so Twitter blows up yet again. My God, this company is just insanity. We made a little Independence Day smasher rooski just to capture the pain that is being long Twitter. So it's a very special edition of Panic, brought to you by the ineptitude of Twitter and their inability to explain their story. Why am I wearing a hat? Well, because it's early in the morning for me too. So you guys all know by now, if you got a ticker, Twitter blew up yet again. Actually, kind of just a little bit better than average. They were losing 16% per earnings report prior to last night, and shares are down about 12% right now. They had weak MAUs, a stat that they made up and then promptly failed to hit for about 8 consecutive quarters and counting. They had poor, almost no guidance. It was kind of strange, and that's going to lead to downgrades today. You're already seeing downgrades today. Whenever you hear an analyst on a conference call ask over and over again, will you please give me out your guidance? And they're asking that question of a company that is openly telling you we frankly have no idea which direction we're going in at the moment. They're really just asking for the company to build their model for them. And when the companies refuse to do that, that makes analysts very, very, very grumpy, and they tend to downgrade the stock. And frankly, Twitter gives them a lot of reason to do that. Headlines along the lines of Jack's honeymoon's over. I thought it just got started. And quote, this is my personal favorite, another reason to hate Twitter stock. Listen, I've lost money on Twitter, so I have every right to hate Twitter stock too. But I'm having a hard time being that upset, actually. I liked a lot of what I saw on the call last night, and I liked a lot of what I saw last night. The highlights, much better communications. Jack, my man, you have come light years in terms of the way you're carrying yourself on these conference calls. And I know it sounds like I'm damning you with faint praise, but you know what? It's hard to go on to those things. And it doesn't really fit in with the whole jackass icon imagery, but I know, you know, everyone knows, looking into the camera and telling people stuff you know they're going to be harsh on you for, that's really tough to do, particularly when you don't have guidance. But it was the honest answer, and honesty can go a long way. It'll build dependability on this thing. And yes, I am a trader, not as active as I normally. Basically investing in Twitter has been a disastrous trade. So no, I'm not happy about my Twitter trade, but I'm not going to sit here and grab my jumblies and tell you about all my big trades, because let the guys on the Twitter stream do that. But here's the thing that makes Twitter compelling and why I simply can't give up on this story. By the first pitch of the World Series last night, Twitter was already back to being the center of the media universe and doing it what it does best, which is being the place that America congregates during huge events. That's huge, folks. That is absolutely huge. There's a reason ESPN's able to charge almost twice the monthly fees of any other cable operation, and that's because people watch sports live. That's entirely it. That's ESPN's edge. You don't time shift sports. Therefore, you don't time shift ads. Twitter has the advantage that people actually go to Twitter during advertisements. It's incredible. You can't put a value on it. They haven't figured out how to put a value on it. But I know this. I know the NFL is a $20 billion a year, give or take, organization. I know there's going to be about probably $10 billion spent on this political election. That's $30 billion sloshing around, and it's no secret that no one watches commercials. Not even television networks think people watch commercials. But we do know that millennials and even old guys like me, who's kind of a Gen Xer, we're all on 2 devices at least. We're all tweeting. You want examples of that? I can give you examples of that. Last night, if you watched the game, it was actually a pretty good World Series game. I get to see the end of these things now that I move out to the West Coast. The Fox broadcast went dark. Where do people go? Twitter, immediately. Snarky jokes all over the place. Explanations. Fox themselves came on and said, we've had a power outage at a truck in Kauffman Stadium, therefore we're dark. Fox, they're actually a news network. They're a sports network. They are the Wall Street Journal. They're media themselves, and where do they go to convey news? Twitter. Twitter, this crappy little company that can't get its act together, that has no idea how they're going to monetize themselves. They are the source of news dissemination for Fox, for everyone. If you've got a problem on the broadcasting world, you know the internet's going to be up someplace, and so Twitter's where you choose to disseminate that news. I don't know precisely how you monetize that because it's a new thing, but it is worth a dump freaking truckload full of money. It's huge. It's huge. You got guys like Piers Morgan whining about how he thinks cricket is baseball for smart people. He went on a diatribe. He went crazy. Piers Morgan, of all people. So you got a little jingoism, a little America, a little back and forth between us and the Limeys. It was fantastic. It was a little piece of Americana. We killed 23 minutes of dead baseball time. And frankly, with baseball, and I'm a fan, it's kind of hard to tell the dead time from the live time, with nothing but just snarky tweets and jokes about what was going on this and how screwed up the broadcast was. That's enormous. Later in the game, KC first baseman makes an error. Immediately, Bill Buckner is trending. In fact, my kid looked at me. My kid is all of 10 years old, which means he was born 20 years after Bill Buckner let that unfortunate ground ball slide between his legs. Yet, this long later, the country's national cultural touchstones go to Bill Buckner in times of need, almost instantaneously. That is incredible. That type of congregation, that type of gathering, it's worth its weight in gold. It's why sports is so huge. It's why people pay millions, $2 million for 30-second Super Bowl ads. Surely, Twitter, you can figure out a way to monetize the fact that you actually are stickier than television despite your very best efforts. The first Republican debate, I can't see the graphic, 3.3 million tweets. They were seen 393 million times. That's a Republican debate. Okay? I'm not one of those guys who's going to tell you how dumb all of Americans are getting, but watching debates really is not our thing. And if you think that was just a Trump effect, the Democratic debate, 2.8 million tweets. Bernie Sanders was the topic of more than 250,000 tweets. Bernie Sanders, not a millennial, just an old guy who's kind of a socialist / commie and who has mastered social media and was able to create a huge amount of buzz simply by tweeting during a debate. Not even the big debates either. We're talking about way primary, way, my God, who are these people? Who's the guy who just said that his number one enemy was the freaking Viet Cong guy that he fragged? Who are these people? The way we decide that, determine that, is via Twitter. That is awe-inspiring and huge stuff, and yet another reason to love them. Listen, Twitter is where America goes to discuss lives event. It's the only social media group that can say that. Facebook can't. Twitter sponsoring the debate on CNN. Some people don't think that moves the needle. I don't know. It's 30 million Americans. That's 10% of the country. And that's counting all the country, not just the literate ones and the people that are old, but every single man, woman, and child in America. That is worth something. It's worth a hell of a lot more than what they're getting paid right now. Is it too cumbersome to use, to your point on the question there? Sure it is. Absolutely. But Jack's taking steps to address that. Why did I like his performance last night? Because he didn't come across as a space alien. He came across as a smart young man who was understanding the issue and going ahead and trying to address it. Moments isn't perfect. He realized that. That was huge. So that word for him. Jack's got a plan. He's in charge. Do I think this thing goes lower? Yeah, today, obviously, it's got support around 25. It's in the cosmic wasteland of stocks. He's going to have to prove it on a quarterly basis. They're going to have to turn in some numbers. But it is a perfectly viable answer to say you don't have guidance. It's a perfectly realistic answer. If Wall Street doesn't like it, that's because Wall Street analysts are typically kind of lazy and they want companies to build their model for them. Twitter's miss this quarter, of all Twitter's misses, it was probably the most constructive one they've had in quite a while. The stock, it's smoking, hulking death, but they're on the right track if they can figure it out and they can address even a little bit. Again, we've talked about this with McDonald's before. Twitter doesn't have to be exceptional to win. Twitter has to be decent to win. They've already got the installed base. They've already got the captive audience. They're already where America goes to hang out. If they do nothing else except serve curly fries and beer or something, they'll figure out how to make money off it. That's my thoughts on Twitter. And since we talked about it yesterday, it feels like we should talk about it again this morning. I'll be back later today. Just wanted to give you an early update. Hope you enjoyed the game last night. Hope you folks on the East Coast aren't too hungover. I know things get a little late. Go Mets. Mets in 5. Talk to you guys later.